As you can see, we had a nice time sleeping late in the morning at Gower's Point here. And it's the next day now, and it's late, and it's just the tide has come in enough to have a good sail around. So what we're doing today is testing everything out, the sails, the motor, trying to get the motor started and find out what's wrong with that, and just test all the systems out by heading up the Straits up towards Puffin Island and back. And during this process we're going to be using the sails and the motor. At the moment we're sailing, and you can see the self-steering. You just spin this into a position and it just holds it wherever it is. You don't actually need to tie it in these conditions, so it's quite convenient. There's a lot of adjustment on it. It's not as easy as I thought it might be to use it, but I think it's also just a matter of getting used to it. It couldn't have been a better day for this. There's hardly any wind out here, just enough to get the sails moving, and we're doing about 2.5 knots, sometimes 3, and on the sails we started out, we put the mainsail up and we've got the Genoa, and it all seems to be doing its thing. Okay, I'm getting used to it again. That's Puffin Island, that's where we're heading for, and regen. We don't know if there's any regen going on there, but there may be. It's a lovely spot, Menai Straits. It's a lovely place to sail. When the tide's in, you can use the whole bay, sail right over. You've got about 4 or 5 meters underneath the keel. As long as you don't get caught with the tide going out, that's all. There's Bow Morris. And we've got our engine on now to test it out, because we don't want to find out that it's not going to go the distance and it overheats or does something silly like that. So we're motoring all the way up towards Puffin Island and giving it a good old thrash, really. That's Bow Morris. And we're passing another sailboat here. It's actually on the anchor. This is quite a good spot to anchor if you don't want to use one of the moorings. That's Menai in the background, probably. Mandud knows it. Mandud knows Menai. Conway. Goes over that side of the bay. Our engine is chugging along without missing a beat. On kerosene. We just started on petrol and immediately turned over to kerosene. It seems to run better on kerosene. I think what I did was I put too much oil in the petrol. I made a mistake with it, and I think it's over-oiled. But that might be good for it while it hasn't been used for a long time, to start it on extra oily petrol. Anyway, we just live with it for the moment. I think I found out why the engine wouldn't start, and it's because I've been leaving it in gear. And it doesn't like starting with the prop in the water in gear. Okay, now we've already left. We've left, and we're now heading for the Swellies. That's what's going on here. This is Bangor Pier, and we've decided at the end of the day that we'll risk the motor, and we'll do the Swellies. And that's where we're heading for. We're heading for the Menai Bridge and the Swellies beyond. Well, we picked up this mooring buoy here just before the Swellies. This is Menai Bridge, I think they call this. And what happened was I was going to do the Swellies, and as I got to that boat there, I realised that the current was really getting stronger, and so I decided to pick up a buoy and wait for the current to go slack. And I picked this buoy up and made a real mess of it, and ended up with the rope of the buoy wrapped around both outboard motors. So anyway, I managed to sort it out. And we're now attached to the front, by the front of it. We were attached to this buoy by the back of the boat for a while. That was a bit disconcerting. But now it's attached to the front, so we can just wait it out now. Right, we're off again on the motor now. We've passed through the Swellies. I didn't film any of that because I had to keep my eye on the ball. And we've just caught up with this nice little sailing boat. And everything's all nice and calm and peaceful on the other side of the Swellies. The only thing that's not peaceful is the sound of my engine. But it's not missing a beat, so that's good. There's a Menai Straits bridge. Our little boat is sailing along with us. Look at the picture in the evening light. Now here we are. Well, we're in Port Dinorwich. And the mooring buoys had naughty little signs in plastic bags on them, and so I didn't bother with those. I just put the anchor down. There's a lot less fuss putting the anchor down without dealing with that last mooring buoy, that's for sure. Anyway, we've got a few more miles to go before we get out of the Menai Straits, so we're going to stay here overnight, make something to eat, and thank heaven that the outboard didn't conk out. Seems to be purring quite nicely. It just doesn't start very easily after you run it on kerosene and you switch it back onto petrol. Okay, well, we're here now. The Swellies was uneventful.